You want to know why you experience bitterness and resentment while dealing with toxic, narcissistically abusive people in your life? It's not what you think. Your bitterness and your resentment has less to do with how mean and cruel and nasty those narcissistic family members are, or that spouse is that's literally choking you out mentally, emotionally, and sometimes even physically. Yes, these things are frustrating. Yes, these things can cause anger to rise up in you, but it's not the source of bitterness and resentment. The bitterness and the resentment that you deal with while you're stuck in a toxic relationship has more to do with you being stuck and no longer living or unable to live in your calling and in your purpose. And if there is no other reason for you to detach from toxic, narcissistic family members or to get out of an abusive marriage that you've been in for 20 years, then pay attention to this video, because I'm going to give you everything that you need to know to cut yourself free, as though your life, now and eternal, depends on it, because it does. Let's get into this topic. My name is Kevin. This is The Royal We. Now, before I do get into the real cause for your bitterness and your resentments in this life, I want to let you know that I'm here to support you. Down in the description box below this video, you will find access for one-on-one appointments with me. I do take telephone calls as well as video calls through Zoom, FaceTime, and WhatsApp. So if you're stuck in a toxic relationship, if you're stuck with toxic family members, if you are stuck in a toxic marriage, and you are embittered and you're resentful, head on down there, schedule some time with me, because I can coach you out of this place and into the life that you've been called to live. A life without bitterness, a life without resentment. So if that's what you're looking for, schedule some one-on-one time with me. In addition to that, I do have a coaching program. Now, my coaching program is live and in person each and every day. It's community-centered. I give you a diary and a journal to work out of. I send you a screensaver for your phone. That's an excellent reminder that you are the royal we, and you wear the scars in this life as evidence of where you've been and where you're going. Head on down there, get started with the Royal We coaching program, or schedule some one-on-one time with me. Now, in order to start this message off, I need to share with you a parable. It's a biblical parable that's going to tell you exactly what takes place when you're stuck and why you become embittered and resentful. Are you ready? It's the parable of the talents. How many of you are familiar with the parable of the talents? This is a parable that Jesus gave when he was speaking to the disciples. And I'm going to share with you what this parable, this biblical parable, actually means as it pertains to a life of embitterment and resentment and staying stuck and not living according to your purpose. Here's the parable. The parable, as Jesus spoke it, was this: a master gave 3 servants different amounts of talents. To one servant, he gave 10 talents. To another servant, he gave 5 talents. And to the third servant, he gave 1 talent. What's interesting right off the bat about this parable is that it uses the word talents. Gifts, if you will. A lot of people mistake this as being some kind of a financial parable of how to invest money. No. Jesus had no interest, nor did he care about how people invest their money. He's talking about investing spiritual things, investing life. So to the one servant that he gave 10 talents to, that servant went out and doubled it. He took the gifts that the master gave him and he doubled in what he possessed. The next servant that was given 5 talents or 5 gifts went out and also got more. You see, these 2 used their talents, used their giftings properly, and received an abundance more. Now, the third and final servant, who was given just 1 talent, 1 gift. You would think that it would be easy having 1 gift, 1 talent, to explore that, to use it, to utilize it, to gain from it. But no. this one servant buried it. The master said, I gave you one gift, one talent to use, and you buried it. Why? He said, well, I became afraid. What if I lost? And the response was, you wicked servant. Now, why does this relate to your bitterness and your resentment in this life? I'll tell you why. As I said before, the parable is not that of a financial parable. Jesus had no interest in that. Jesus said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. He was not interested in money. The reason that it relates to you and to me is because we all have been given gifts and talents by our Creator, those of you who believe in a Creator. Some have been given 10 talents, some have been given 5, some have been given just 1 talent. We all have various gifts to be used. The reason that parable was spoken is because you and I have the task in this life to take these gifts, take these talents that we have, whatever they are, whether it's a gift of love, a gift of affection, a gift of joy, a gift of giving, a gift of talking, a gift of whatever, art, a gift of dance, a gift of photography, a gift of videography, a gift of, you name it. They're all gifts. And the only responsibility we have in this life is to use them. Because that's the only way we gain. That's the only way we receive, is by using and exercising these things. Now, watch this. When you're with toxic family members, when you're with a narcissistically abusive spouse, here's what happens. Your gifts and your talents that narcissistic family members or a narcissistic spouse or narcissistic friends become insanely jealous of because it individuates you from them, because they don't share in your talents. They didn't give you your talents, your Creator did. So the only thing they can do, since it individuates you from them, is to attack you, to attack your gifts, to attack your talents. As a result, you bury them out of fear. Your resentment and your bitterness is not because of their attacks. Your resentment and your bitterness is out of no longer using your gifts and your talents. And the bitterness and the resentment burns inside of you, and it always will. Do you want to know why? Because you realize and you know that you answer to nobody in this life but your Creator. And at some point throughout this existence, you will return to your Creator, however you view this, and here's what's going to take place. Your Creator is going to say, much like the master in the parable, Jesus displayed this perfectly. Your Creator is going to say, I've given you these talents. What did you do with them? Did you use them in a way that brought more into your life? What did you do? And as a result of being in a toxic relationship, you're going to be as that one servant, that last one that said, I buried it out of fear. And your Creator is going to say, why? Why did you do that? Well, I was afraid if I used it, if I did this, then these toxic people and this toxic husband and this toxic wife would have left me or would have attacked me or would have something, blah, blah, blah. And your Creator is going to say, you chose those people over me. And I gave you the gifts. Those people didn't give you the gifts. Your narcissistic husband didn't give you the gifts that you have. Your toxic narcissistic wife didn't give you the talents and the gifts that you have. Your mom and your dad and your brother and your sister, none of them gave you your talents in life. This was a gift by your Creator. And instead of honoring your Creator and using these gifts and these talents to bring more into your life, you sacrificed them, you cut them out of your life, and instead became fearful of the family members, of your husband, of your wife. I guess another way to look at this is you've chosen another God. You've chosen another Creator to honor. This is the source of your resentment and your bitterness. You see, resentment and bitterness is not about being attacked from the outside. Resentment and bitterness is only something that comes from the inside. Yes, you can be angry with those people. Yes, you can be infuriated with narcissistic people. But you can only be resentful. You can only be bitter when you know in the pit of your stomach and in the back of your heart that you have sacrificed your gifts and your talents for the sake of this lame, stupid relationship. You've chosen a relationship over what your Creator has given you. Do you see what causes bitterness? I know this because I've been there. You know, at this point in my life, yes, I still have anger towards the toxic people. I still have frustration there. I have righteous indignation towards their attitudes, which are sucky. But that's fine. It's okay to have righteous indignation. It's okay to have anger in this life. Anger's not a problem. But one thing I am not, and one thing I refuse to be in this life, is bitter, resentful. As if to say, I cannot be the person I'm called to be because of those people. I choose, and I want you to choose, to never stand before your Creator and say, I couldn't do what you wanted me to do, what you gifted me to do. I couldn't do it because of those people, because I know it's not a good enough excuse. I don't know about your Creator, but my Creator will shake his head. My Creator will say, you wicked servant. I gifted you. I gave you talents. And you put those toxic family members, that toxic spouse, before the gifts I gave you. Wow. The bitterness that I can sense welling up in me right now would be over the broken heart, if you will, of the Creator, who gave me these gifts and watched me not use them, but instead turn them off and sacrifice them for the sake of some lame-o people, some idiots in this world, narcissistic people who out of their envy and jealousy wanted me to not do anything. As I said before, this is a serious topic. Don't be bitter. Don't be resentful. If you are in a place experiencing resentment and bitterness, and you know that you're not living the life that you've been called to live, head on down there, schedule some one-on-one time with me. I'm ready to work with you. Get you back on your path in life. Open up the doors. Start taking your gifts and your talents seriously, because they're yours. And you've got this one shot, this one life, to exercise your gifts and talents and to double them and to receive more for what you give. This is it. You get one go round. So if you're ready, let's work on this. If you're new to the Royal We, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button so you don't miss any future Royal We content. I upload a few times every week. And if you do need that one-on-one support, be sure to head on down to the description box, schedule that time with me. I'll be back with more videos for you right here on the Royal We. Now, before I do go, be sure to check out one of these videos. These videos are recommended by the YouTube algorithm. If you're listening to this via podcast, head on down to the description box below the podcast where you can schedule one-on-one time with me. I'll be back with more right here on the Royal We.